Welcome back, riders. Today is number 12 of 25 days of coasters. We're over halfway there. We have another very exciting one today. As I alluded to 2 days ago during the Copperhead Strike video, this coaster is just one of those coasters that is plain fun. I'm smiling during the whole time on this one. Today's coaster is Taron at Phantasialand. We will start again with the stats and background. Phantasialand is an extremely unique theme park in rural Germany, which is a suburb of Cologne and south of Dusseldorf. Phantasialand is famous for their extensive theming, which will become abundantly apparent in a few moments when I further break down Terran's theming, as you can probably already see in the pictures too. Taron is an Intamin multi-launch coaster that opened in 2016. Phantasialand is unique in that they have many restrictions when building attractions, so because of this, many are built into the ground and within structures, and Taron is no different. Taron resides in the themed land of Klugheim, which is like a subsection of, I think it's called Mysteria. Taron is 98.4 feet tall, reaches a top speed of 72.7 miles per hour, traverses a whopping 4,330.8 feet of track, and the most famous statistic of them all. The track goes over or under itself, otherwise known as a crossover. It crosses over itself 116 times. As you can see in the video, just over and under itself, over and over. I was able to get 9 rides on Taron across my 2 days at the park this past July. Taron is going to be super weird to break down. Copperhead Strike was the other coaster I labeled as super fun, smiling the whole time coaster. But Copperhead Strike has a distinct sequence of elements that was super easy to break down. Taron is more like Fly, also at Phantasialand if you didn't see that video, where a lot of the ride is kind of repetitive and blends together while also having a few unique standout moments alongside world-class theming. Except Taron is even more repetitive than Fly. If I really wanted to break it down in order, you would just be hearing overbank, turn the other way, get some little airtime, turn again, S-bend, overbank, turn, airtime. You just be hearing the same things over and over again. You get the idea. This coaster is not for everyone. I've seen plenty of people who were let down with their rides, and some people even say that Taron is flat out overrated. But for me, words just can't describe how much fun Taron is, at least for me. Just flat out fun. Klugheim is another exceptionally themed land in Phantasialand. I will get this out of the way. Yes, Rookburg is better than Klugheim, but come on. Look at these pictures. Just because something else is better, that doesn't make this bad. Klugheim is absolutely stunning in its own right. I will say, Klugheim doesn't have as much variety as Rookburg. I feel like Rookburg has many more like decorations or set pieces, while Klugheim focuses more on just the artificial natural beauty of the rocks they built. Klugheim does have various buildings, but they're more like the size of like outposts kinda. But the focus is most definitely on all the rocks in the area. Also, Klugheim is less interactive with Terran. Well, like, obviously Terran interacts with the land of Klugheim, but Fly has, that like water that goes off at specific moments or steam that goes off in specific moments when a train goes by. Terran doesn't really have those types of like theming elements. I guess there's just one, but I'll touch on that. But there's still plenty of moments where you're flying through buildings, riding against the ground, going through tunnels, going through troughs, riding against the rocks. It's all lovely. And just like Rootberg, guess what Klugheim has? Another stellar IMAscore soundtrack. 13 custom tracks. And you know me, I'm all for it. This soundtrack is amazing. With that, I will talk about the moments that do stand out. And we will start with the dispatch. This is one of my favorite dispatch sequences ever. Just seriously. Even after I wrote it, even before I wrote it, after I wrote it, just watching it on YouTube, it just sends shivers down my spine. Imagine how I felt when I was actually on the ride. This is a lot because they have like a custom soundtrack, which I would assume is made by Amascore as well, but I think it's only like 30 or 40 seconds. It takes a commanding presence on every dispatch, and it just sounds amazing. Physically speaking, when you dispatch, you make a wide turn to the right. If you look to the left, you can kind of see in the picture, you get a great view of the waterfall. And either way, you're going to be able to hear the waterfall. So that's really cool. And then you straighten out to the first launch and you stop completely. The music hits like a crescendo, it hits the apex, and you take off with the music. And oh my gosh, just take me back, seriously. Like a lot of first launches on multi-launch Intamins, the first launch isn't anything super crazy. It's still good though, don't get me wrong. It has more bite than either of the launches on Fly, that's for sure. At least excluding the fact that you're in the flying position on Fly, but anyways, after the first launch, you hit a big overbank through the rocks. After that though, you have the best moment of airtime on the ride. You hit the airtime hill, and then on the exit, you hit a small turn to the left with minimal banking, so it also gives some great laterals on the exit. Also, you end up flying below some kind of building after that aforementioned airtime hill, and after you go through that building, short little tunnel, you have a sudden change of direction to the right, which is also a great moment of both airtime and laterals. That airtime hill, though, through the building, and then the direction change to the right. It's definitely one of the better sequences of the ride, if not the best. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the second launch. This is a great launch. It's got great speed and good acceleration. It's also nice that you're launching through, like you're like in a trough during it as well, so that definitely adds to the experience as well. And then the launch directly leads into one of the best moments of the ride. It's a high rising turn to the left where you get extremely close to both the waterfall I mentioned earlier and the rocks of Klugheim. In fact, you even get a few drops of water from the waterfall sometimes on the ride, which definitely caught me off guard. I want to say my first ride I even got water drops, and I was just like amazed with that. The launch and then the riding of the rocks and waterfall is one of the moments I will never take for granted. That's for sure. That's all I really wanted to point out for Taron. I understand it's kind of weird to have a ride where, I only say it has like two or three good sequences. The rest is super repetitive. And, it's kind of weird to say that and still rank it as high as number 12. I have no better way to describe it other than just saying that Taron is just some of the best fun I've ever had on a coaster. And, for me, that's good enough for me to rank it this high. Sure, I'm willing to admit it has pacing issues. I will say I don't notice pacing issues as much, but on this one, yeah, like it kind of peters out at a lot of points. Sure, for a ride so long, it doesn't have that many great moments, like if you strip the theming, but the theming is there, and even with the slower sections, this ride has a lot to offer. There's so much to look at. I just love all the turns and everything. I I just love Terran. So that's all I really have for today. Have you been on Terran? If you haven't, how do you think it looks? Let me know in the comments below. You can find a more in-depth review with better footage from Canopy Coaster in the description below, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Push down, pull up, exit to the right. I hope you enjoyed the video, and go have your greatest day yet. Choo choo, bye!